search continues this morning for a missing woman from the United States who's gone missing in the Bahamas. Police say that 41-year-old Taylor Casey, who's from Chicago, was last seen around Paradise Island on June 19th. She traveled there to the islands for a yoga retreat. No details have been released on whether any foul play is suspected. According to a statement that retreat organizers released, they learned of her disappearance when Casey failed to attend some morning classes. Investigators did recover Casey's cell phone, but it's unclear the distance it was from the yoga retreat. So we're wondering this morning, what could we learn from her phone, if anything? Let's bring back in our guests and talk about this. Jennifer Coffindeffer, back to you here. Your thoughts on what story the phone could possibly tell?
Well, certainly there could be data retrieved. I know that from the information I read, that phone was found very close to the water. And that's obviously very concerning in these situations. The waters in and around the Bahamas can be dangerous. And certainly there's been other tourists and travelers that have gone that have lost their lives in the water. So I see that as a possibility. Look, this was a yoga retreat for the stars. And I think a wonderful, relaxing place. And so I have no information that would point to somebody stalking her there and committing a horrible crime. So leaning toward an accident, but we still have much investigation left to be done.
Right. Kirk Nurmi, to you next, please. You heard Jennifer say, could this be accidental? And then, of course, I know when I first read the news, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, was this a kidnapping? Was this a kidnapping? A woman who may be unfamiliar with her surroundings? I'm curious your thoughts on that possibility.
Well, anything's possible at this point because the investigation is still in its infancy. But I tend to agree with Jennifer. Accident is the most likely outcome. But one of the things that we can see here when we talk about the phone, where it was recovered, of course, is key. But what was on it? Where did she go? Was she having contact with anyone, any strangers, maybe any people in the area? Was she having meetings with anyone? Just to kind of rule out the possibility if there was any kind of interference, any kind of relationship she had with someone that might have gone awry, or that some kind of subterfuge was used to lure her somewhere. Things of that nature need to be ruled out before we talk about the possibility of accident and or some kind of intentional kidnapping.
Right. Kirk, thank you for that. Franz, I want to talk to you about the family. It is just heartbreaking seeing Taylor Casey's mother down there in the Bahamas, people who love her. They're just distraught, as anyone would be when their loved one just vanishes, and they're saying this isn't like her. I've seen them, doing other interviews, and thoughts on what the family's going through. Any advice for the family members at this time?
So the problem with these kind of deaths, and I use the word intentionally death because we don't know what happened yet, is sometimes having no answers is far worse than having answers. Especially when it's in a foreign country where you don't necessarily know how what their level of investigation is, what their government system is. If I were in a foreign country trying to find out what happened to a lost loved one, I would be at the consulate trying to work with the U.S. government, trying to lean on the consulate as much as possible. But look, at the end of the day, the fact that the cell phone was found is tremendously good. We will, like Kurt said, we're going to have some answers when we get through and crack the cell phone data. The fact that the cell phone was found probably lends itself more to accident than some kind of foul play, only because if you're going to kidnap her and you're going to do something with her, you're going to take the thing of value if you're going to hold her hostage. And I'm not trying to say this because I have some kind of insight. I'm just saying the fact that we have the phone makes me optimistic that we may be able to get some kind of answers and give them some kind of closure.
Right. Franz, thank you for that. We'll leave it there for now. If we learn anything about the disappearance of Taylor Casey, we will share the information live.